It feels like ever since the COVID-19 pandemic that we have been in a housing crunch or a housing shortage. But the real question is, did that happen since COVID-19 or because of COVID-19? Or did all these problems happen much sooner? We're going to talk about that in today's video. Stay tuned. Before we jump into the reasons for the housing shortage, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification. That way you can be notified every time we release a new video. Without further ado though, let's jump into these statistics, talking about when the housing crunch really started happening. And getting right to the point, this market shortage really happened long before the pandemic. We have been feeling the effects of it very strongly here recently. However, all of this really started in 2009 when the Great Recession started to happen, and home builders scaled back significantly on the number of homes that they were building. Since then, we have been behind on homes for American residents, really especially in the western half of the US, and in Utah we're feeling that significantly as we've seen #1 population growth across the US here locally in our state. I feel that Forbes put it really well when they wrote, "The housing market has been struggling to keep up with demand since the 2010s, when the number of new homes built was slashed in half compared with the previous decade. As the demand for residential real estate has increased, the scarcity of homes for sale has created a logjam on the supply side." Looking at some numbers from Realtor.com, they said that the US is now short 5.24 million homes. That gap between single-family home construction and household formations is up from a shortage of 3.84 million homes at the beginning of 2019. So yeah, since COVID started happening and we've been feeling those effects, that number has gotten worse, but it started with that Great Recession in 2009. The problem is even though we scaled back in 2009, we're still not keeping up with the current pace and demand. Home building hasn't kept pace with population growth. Looking at these numbers in 2020 and the first half of 2021, the US saw 2.1 million households form, resulting in a total of 12.3 million households formations from 2012 to June of 2021. According to Realtor.com, in that period, only 7 million single-family homes were completed. So we've got 7 million homes being built, yet we have 12.3 million households being formed. Now, there is going to be some give and take with some people passing away, but ultimately, we are seeing a household formation happen much faster than we're seeing the death rate go up, and as well as we're seeing the new construction go up. To make matters even worse, we're seeing a shortage on supply and labor for new construction. And again, even in those situations, it was happening before the COVID-19, but since the pandemic, all of these things have just been exacerbated. Utah has also seen an increase in number of home sales. As the pandemic has made it so that more and more people can work remotely, we've seen more and more people want to be in our state. States with the highest increases in home sales year over year were Arizona, 28.8%, Idaho, 28.7%, and Utah with 25.4% year over year increase. Like you guys saw in the video that we released last week, Realtor.com has named Salt Lake City in the state of Utah the #1 area for home sale growth in the year 2022. So this really isn't going to be slowing down anytime soon. Right now, they're predicting that the Salt Lake City metro area will have a 15.2% year over year sales growth and an 8.5% year over year increase in prices. So again, if you want to hear a little bit more details about that, you can check out our video that we did last week on Salt Lake City being the #1 in 2022. Our population growth is growing at a high clip. In Utah, we've been the fastest growing state in the nation over the past 10 years. That's a lot of organic growth as well, or in-state growth, as people are having, multiple kids, 4, 5, 6 kids, even more at times. And then those kids are now growing up and starting families of their own. Utah's cumulative housing shortage from 2010 to 2020 totals 44,000 units, according to the state of the state's housing market that's published by the University of Utah. That same report found that Utah's housing market's facing a severe imbalance that's creating record price increases for homeowners and renters. For instance, more than half of Utah's households are now unable to afford the state's median priced home, which that median price for single family homes in 2021 was $460,000. We don't tell you all of this information to cause concern or panic. We're here to just provide the information and let you know what's going on and what's to be expected in the coming year. If you currently own a home, it's going to be good news because you're going to be able to see, like we talked about, a little over 8% price appreciation in the next year. If you don't own a home and you are in a position to be able to buy one, please give us a call and let's get you into a home as soon as possible so that you can capitalize off that appreciation. If you don't know if you're going to qualify for a home, reach out to us anyways. We'll talk you through it and see what we can do to get you on the path to home ownership and living the American dream, building wealth through real estate.